Commentator David Paul Kuhn has thought deeply about this subject for many years, and he joins us tonight. David, thanks very much for coming on. So the equation seems really simple. The less economic power voters have, the more likely they are to express their frustration politically, and the more volatile your system and your society becomes. Am I missing something?
You nailed the point. I mean, to think of it this way, a decade ago, we experienced the Great Recession. We experienced 10% unemployment. Look at the societal upheaval that caused, the political upheaval. It gave Barack Obama most immediately a majority of the vote. Then it led to the Tea Party because of getting unaddressed. You could argue, in fact I would, that our inattention to the blue-collar crisis that came with the Great Recession directly led to Donald Trump. And that was 10% unemployment. If you double that, that is the low end of what experts estimate will be the upheaval caused by artificial intelligence, AI. So the political consequences are manifest, and it's not just this expert on 60 Minutes. It's really a norm now to expect that it could go as high as 47, 50%, especially in a developed country like the United States or in Northern Europe.
So there are lots of arguments for mass low-wage immigration, and some of them, are perfectly reasonable. There's a moral argument. We can help people. We should. I mean, I don't think that's crazy, okay? But I don't see the economic argument for it under the circumstances that you just described.
Well, it is supply and demand, right? If you increase the supply of low-skilled labor, and you increase the demand for good blue-collar jobs. The problem is there's fewer good blue-collar jobs already for the American working class. Another way to think about this, we've paid more attention with the advent of Donald Trump. We've paid more attention to the white working class in America, belatedly. A way to think about this, even if you're not particularly sympathetic to their plight, they're like the canary in the coal mine. In other words, as you just alluded, it's going to start, what's happened to them, and black blue-collar workers as well, is going to hit the educated workforce, the white-collar employment that's seen in, say, big law, right? So in big law, a huge portion of big law, especially in the early years, is document review. That's already been hit by AI, and that's only begun. Physicians may be more threatened than nurses because a lot of physicians simply read symptoms and offer a diagnosis. That's certainly going to be automated. In other words, it's only begun in the white-collar world, and I think we can look at what's happened to our blue-collar economy as sort of a warning for all of us.
So why, everything that you have said is well known, and there have been a number of pieces written about it, and I don't really think anyone denies the inevitability of a lot of the changes you described. So why does our policymakers' position continue to be everything will be fine just because? Well,
there's obviously a tech utopia variable here.
Yes.
And also there's, of course, other factors, right? The Democratic Party is dependent on the Hispanic vote, and I would say Hispanic leaders, not necessarily the average Hispanic voter, obviously are highly concerned about the crisis in Central America and support the at least not curtailing the current levels of immigration. And of course, the corporate part of the Republican Party has always supported low-skilled labor, and really what you're talking about really is an issue that transcends both parties in a sense that because it transcends the both parties' elites are inattentive to the crisis. We know the problem,
that's for sure.
But the incentives, I think to put it simply, we know the problem. The problem is agreed upon by experts, but our political incentives are not to address the problem because where is the money? It's with Google, it's with the Koch, it's with the two ends of both parties that wants to increase immigration, increase the supply of low-skilled labor, and obviously this issue transcends. You can increase the supply of high-skilled labor, right? You can give an increasing emphasis to immigrants who bring a college education and
right, but that's not what
degrees.
We're doing. 50% of the people we're admitting don't have more than a high school degree, and many have less. Nothing against them, but that's not the point. David, thank you very much. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Austin Goolsbee is an economics professor.